Hi, guys. Thank you for joining. This is Essence of Science. Today, we're talking about the science behind dreaming. I'm Amanda Armagast.
Dr. Abbasi for Essence. What a fascinating topic.
I
What is it?
actually chose this topic for a reason, actually.
Tell us why.
Okay, so recently, about I think a month ago, I bought something called a grounding mat. And if you don't know what grounding is, it's pretty much like connecting yourself to the earth's energy and the earth's frequencies. And we naturally ground, or you can also call it earthing, but we naturally do that by walking outside barefoot on grass. And you technically can ground on concrete. You can't ground on asphalt, and you cannot ground in your house. Like, you're not grounding if you're sitting on your linoleum floor or carpet or anything like that, because you're not connected to the earth. But a
Mhm.
grounding mat connects you to the earth because our houses are grounded through that
Mhm.
electrical wire, when you're like doing your electricity. For those of you that know, it connects to the ground somehow and then gets the like energy from the earth. So when you have this mat, you plug it in to the wall and then it uses the energy, like it connects to that grounded wire. So there's supposed to be different benefits behind grounding, which I'm not really going to really get deep into that. I want to talk about that in its own podcast. But some of the benefits are like improved sleep, improved circulation, less inflammation, things like that. And actually, I have noticed a difference in my sleep. The biggest difference I've noticed is usually I don't dream. If I dream, it's maybe once every other month. It's very rare. But ever since I got this grounding mat, I'm dreaming every single night, literally. And not only that, but I'm remembering my dreams. I'm having multiple dreams in a night. But because I'm not a dreamer, it's actually making me feel a little bit like I'm going crazy, because there's been multiple occasions where I'm thinking like, did that happen or was it in my dream? And yesterday I spent like 20 minutes actually calling different grocery stores because I couldn't decipher if something had happened in my dream or if I really saw it in the grocery store.
Mhm.
So I wanted to talk about like the science behind dreaming specifically and kind of like the psychology of it.
Well, what I love about our duo, Amanda, you and I complete each other. You have knowledge and things you can say, talking about things that I have no idea. And many times as well, I talk about things that you have no idea. So we are two sides of the spectrum um, uh, of the knowledge of a human, but I'm going to talk about the science of the sleep that I know about. Now, you said something very interesting. You had you didn't know if you dreamed it or it was real.
Yeah. Multiple times.
You can make anybody go in that direction by putting them stress them. And in the science, there is one way to stress any organism is make sure they don't sleep. If sleep deprivation is the most scientifically researched way of stressing any organism. And depending on how long you will sleep deprive one individual versus another, it is certainly the threshold is different in every individual, but you can put almost every single person on the planet in a situation that they do not know if they are thinking it, if it's really happening, or if they are dreaming it. It is something that people with schizophrenia encounter very often, and regular people have that threshold as well. As a matter of fact, it's referred to as schizophrenogenic threshold.
Hmm.
Like
Right. Can you break that down? Schizo.
schizophrenic schizophrenia is a disease.
Mhm.
Schizophrenogenic meaning that situation that gives you the symptom of schizophrenia.
Okay.
Schizophrenic threshold, meaning what is your threshold to have symptom of a schizophrenia? What amount of stress make you personally? Because that's different for every person. For some people, is a regular stress is enough. For some people, a lot of stress have to be in. But no matter who you are and how stable anybody is, if you deprive somebody of 2 nights of sleep, almost 100% of the people go to have that develop symptoms that are very similar to schizophrenia. Practically, the reality, dream, and their thoughts, they are not distinguishable anymore.
Okay.
Like I can tell you from my residency that after a certain amount of time, I could walk and sleep, and I didn't know if I dreamed something and or if I really had that conversation, and it was 50-50.
Wow.
So sleep is a crucial part of any organism with a nervous system. As a matter of fact, we know that sleep is a part of any organism, period. Any organism has active and not active episodes. And as a matter of fact, most of the time, like an organism, no matter what organism is, there are more inactive time in the life of an organism than active time. Like, look at
Like
your
cats.
how often do they rest? How often do they, are active? That's probably two-thirds to one-third.
Yeah, I think I read one time that cats sleep like 18 to 20 hours a day.
Yeah. Now, the question is why? Why do we need even to sleep? What is
I
the
think about
function of
that
the
a
sleep?
lot because not only do we need to sleep, but it's like you have to you have to get there. Like you can't just sleep. You have to go to bed. Well, I mean, like we do go to bed, but you have to kind of pretend you're sleeping before you fall asleep. Like you have to shut your eyes. You have to be
Hmm.
still. Most people, unless you have like an issue, a disease, most people don't just fall asleep standing up or like I'm working, so I'm not going to fall asleep. You know what I'm Yeah, exactly. We're not including you. And we're not including people that have it's like a what is it, like a neurological disorder
Hmm.
when they just randomly fall asleep.
Okay.
So
Like
I think
narcolepsia, that's
yeah,
called
narcolepsy. Yeah.
narcolepsia.
I think it's interesting how you have to actually like get to sleep.
So we should talk about the disease of the sleep in the Essence of Medicine
Yeah, a
podcast
different
and
episode, yeah.
concentrate today on the science of the sleep. And the science of the sleep is number one, even one cell organism, they have period of inactivity and period of activity. Every living being with the nervous system has as well these episodes that they are sleep-like situation, even flies. And you need to know that any nervous system is made of neurons. These neurons actually they accumulate certain uh, product of our metabolism, and our sleep episodes, our sleep time is the time that all our body actually um, they do a house cleaning. The cells, they get rid of the things they don't need. They prepare themselves for activity, create the molecule and protein that we need. But in our nervous system, in our that is especially important to a point that I'm almost I can go now one step forward to mammals. The mammals, they will die without sleep.
Mhm.
And as a matter of fact, if there is a way to really make sure that you don't sleep, you won't last more than 3-4 days. After 3-4 days, you will die. Your body will shut down and you will die. It's very hard to
What
really
shuts
force.
when you don't sleep, what shuts down first? Like what's that process?
Well, the process is that practically your entire system is, and your entire system is like a city that is in harmony. That trash get collected, water flows, electricity flows, and so on, and all of that is controlled by a nervous system. Imagine now all of a sudden you cut all the telephone wires, all the internet, and the cars are just driving crazy. It is not one system. Your entire body is in disharmony and shuts down and becomes ineffective. Practically, imagine in a city that everybody goes crazy. Nobody follows the rules anymore. Okay? And that is how your body shuts down. And then you practically your basic metabolic pattern, they don't work anymore, and you die. Um, it is very hard to, do that, but it is, and I'm not sure where that 3 4 days come from, but that is what we consider livable. 3 days, but that by that time they are messed. As a matter of fact, this is a folter. This is a. I'm sorry, talking German. This is a torture mechanism. Sleep deprivation. That is how they extract information from many of the people in the Guantanamo by sleep depriving them, and then they don't know if they don't know if they're dreaming, if it's really happening, and they use like loud rock, metal music, very loud, and then continuous stimulation, lots of bright light, and so on. It is a torture.
You
Okay.
know what's kind of weird? There's some people on TikTok. I mean, this is kind of a little bit off topic, but on TikTok, there's these people that go live and they do that to themselves. They
Hmm.
play like a lot of like spinning things and like bright lights and a lot of loud music and like try and sleep through it. And they do it on live and people pay them.
Wow, wow. There are strange people out there. So let's come back to that. Um, Sleep is a vital function of our nervous system. But I think sometimes in our evolution, um, our brain figured out, okay, in those times that I don't have to be active, let's do a little processing. Like imagine your computer, you give it a lots of tasks, okay? And then your computer says, during the day, I'm doing this, all these different things, but in the night, let me process the data so next day the data is all available for you. And that has evolved over probably a few million years, that our brain uses the sleep for two reasons. Not only for clearing the house, getting rid of the trash, and making the neuron fresh again with all they need, but as well processing the data that it has gathered over the day. Now, let's be more specific here. Um, have you ever learned for a test and so on?
Yeah.
Now, some people learn before the test, they don't sleep and they learn all night long.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually can work, because if your test is next day, you put everything in your short memory, which, by the way, is extremely limited. Extremely limited. Our short-term memory is extremely limited. But if you sleep, if you don't sleep, you learn all night long, you have those facts that you need for the test, you pass the test, but I can guarantee you, you will forget all of that right after the test. As a matter of fact, we know the best way to learn is to acquire the fact and get a nap or sleep, because that encodes sleep. A certain part of sleep encodes the short-term memory in long-term memory. The structure involved in that is mostly our hippocampus, is a special part of our brain that look like a seahorse. And hippocampus, that's a Latin name of seahorse,
Hmm.
because it look like that. And the certain structure in our brain, they acquire the short-term memory, which is again extremely limited, but then they get encoded into our long-term memory. That happens in the first few stages of the sleep. So these are things we know. Um, when you go put your head down, first you are just dreaming or thinking or going things over your head. Then all of a sudden there is a phase. That phase some people can control. Like I can control it. For some people, it's just they don't even know when they fall asleep. But for me, and for some other people, that's a phase that okay, this is like not real anymore. Okay, I'm about to fall asleep, but then you enjoy it and you just give in to it. Have you ever had that?
Well, I just kind of started dreaming recently, so
Yeah.
no.
Some people even can control their dreams and so on, but let's go deeper to that later. When you fall asleep, we have so called 4 stages of sleep. Stage 1 and 2 are very shallow, and you see it on the brain waves and so on.
Hmm.
And then in that phase, practically you are setting yourself up for the stage 3 and 4, which is a deep sleep. And we know that you as well dream in the deep sleep, but people usually don't wake up from that. So no, almost nobody remembers dreams that they have in stage 4 or whatever we would call dream. We know these are the stages that your brain processes the short-term memory into chunks that can be encoded in the stage 4 to long-term memory. But then you go to a phase that we call rapid eye movement, REM sleep. And as the name says, in the REM sleep, your eyes are just moving as if you were looking at the thing and you were awake. Your brain activity in the REM sleep is very similar to actually when you're awake.
That's your deepest sleep, right? REM sleep?
The deepest sleep is stage 4.
Okay.
And we know at the beginning, and you need both, by the way.
Hmm.
Deep stage 4 sleep and you need REM sleep. At the beginning of the night, most of the sleep you have is stage 1, 2, 3, 4. And then toward the end of the night, in the morning, most of your sleep is REM sleep. And most of the people actually wake up from their REM sleep and they remember it because your sleep is shallower in the REM sleep. And for a long time, we had no idea what is going on there. But I think the data is consolidating that during the stage 1, 2, 3, 4, you are consolidating your short term memory in the long term memory. Now, in the REM sleep, that's the beautiful part of it. Your brain has lots of new information. It connect those information to see if there any good thing comes out of it. It simulates. Your brain has a simulation device, like a flight simulator. You can crash and die 5,000 times in a simulator, but you are not dead. That is what your brain does. It combines old information to new ones, see if they fit with the model it has built, meaning that if you read a lot of book, if you do a lot of things, if you have a lot of knowledge, that simulation can be more accurate. As a matter of fact, there is tremendous number of discoveries done in that phase that the scientist has been working on the problem for a long time, and then all of a sudden in sleep it comes to them.
Yeah.
Many
I've
scientists have actually a piece of paper and uh, uh, pen at their bedside. Exactly.
Mhm.
Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A
Now,
lot of hippies do that too.
yeah. Well, what's as well, I think, important considering this path that that what it does, the REM sleep, what it does is that in that phase, our brain is not busy with usual daily activity, so it can concentrate truly on evaluating the data it has gathered now and combines it in different ways. That's why some of your dreams are weird, because your brain is trying just combine information that you wouldn't usually combine, like
Right.
having a drinking party in your parents' house. In the real
Mm.
world, you wouldn't, combine your parent with a wild party, but your
Right.
brain does it, and then you say, "Oh my God, what was that?" and so on. Okay.
I remember in school learning that we don't really know exactly why people dream, but there's some theories to why people dream. And my favorite theory was that, well, I have two favorite theories, but my favorite theory is that it's like our ancestors' experiences getting passed down to us. Isn't that kind of cute?
That is cute, but I
What do you
think
think?
well, I think again, you are on one spectrum of the human experience, and I'm on the other. I'm the rational scientist and so on, and not everything we know as science is correct. But I'm more on the scientific part. That I
I
think.
learned that in science class, actually. I didn't learn that in like a book.
Okay, well, I can just tell you as a neurosurgeon that we have no evidence that experience of your ancestor penetrates to you in your sleep. We have no evidence of that, but we do have evidence that the memories are consolidated, and that our brain plays a practically a simulation to combine those information and get the usefulness of those information. One another thing that is very very important in this simulation. As a matter of fact, part of our brain in part of our sleep, part of our brain is paralyzed. So our brain literally send a signal for our hand to move, for our legs to run.
Mm-hmm.
If it wouldn't paralyze us, we would literally kick somebody or do dangerous things. And sometimes people do that. That's another
Yeah.
thing to discuss in the medicine of the sleep. But uh, but practically our brain paralyze our motor system so it can try everything, including our motor reaction. Meaning, a tennis player consolidate those memories how to hit the ball in his or her sleep without really acting on it. So it is more than just knowledge. It as well knowledge about things to do as motor skills and so on. Everything get consolidated in our sleep. Now, and obviously, I think what's as well important is that once the information is consolidated, then if you have more time, the brain just run more and more simulation, and that is when you in the morning, Sunday morning, when you wake up, and then you just want to go back, and then you dream more and more and more. That is
Mm-hmm.
now there are some people, and that's said, and I'm one of that, have some control over their dream, and that's always going to be REM sleep, where you're sleeping, and you can influence it to a certain degree, and as well, there had happened to me few times that I woke up from my sleep. In my sleep, I have a second layer sleep, and one time only happened to me. I had three-layer sleep that I woke up and woke up again, and I still was in my sleep. That is like that movie Inception, but that happened only to me once. But the reports of that are as well that since your brain is like a computer, literally your brain, like it's a simulation. It simulates another computer within the computer. Like with a real computer, I can have my computer that simulates another computer, and that is what your brain is really able to do.
That's
So that,
happened to me before too, but only two levels.
yeah, but that's a crazy thing sometimes.
Is it possible, like, since our brain is still sending us the signals, like move your hands, do this and that, is it possible that our brain still sends the like emergency signals or something? So then what if, I mean, can someone have a heart attack in their dream and it's a heart attack in real life?
I would say probably is the other way. You have a heart attack, and they will dream of it and so on. I would say I've no, I don't have enough knowledge about that, but I can tell you that in many regards, in your dream, you wake up, your heart is still palpitating. You saw something. So that's conceivable that something like that is possible. But we have so many safeguards,
Yeah.
mechanisms that are otherwise, our brain could damage us. I think we have way more safeguards regarding that. But let me tell you a few things that, like dolphins. Obviously, if they both part of their brain go sleep, they would drown. They have to still swim, come back, get air from, and so on and so forth. So each half of their brain sleeps at different rate. So they still have some capacity to have do functional thing while half of the brain is sleeping.
Hmm, cute.
Ducks. When the ducks are in a group, the part of the eye, and always the eye is controlled, most of the vision is controlled, or most of our function is controlled by the other side of the brain. This hand is controlled by this side of the brain. We know they have done this studies that shows the ducks The side that looks out, if they are in a group, let's say there's a bunch of ducks in a group, those ducks that are outside, that part of the brain that is looking outside still awake, that side that look inside safe is sleeping. Those ducks that are in the middle, both sides of this brain sleeps. So the nature, the evolution has made us aware that there are certain situations that we have to be extremely cautious and put safeguard that, no matter what part of the sleep, certain things will wake you up. Because if it doesn't,
And you'll die.
then you'll die. Exactly. Okay. And one of the things that almost everybody has noticed is that feeling that you're falling.
I was going to bring that up. Why?
Why? Yes. Now that I told you this, now you tell me why.
Is it so then if we're falling, we wake up?
Exactly. For most of our human uh, primate life, we have been
Sleeping in trees.
safest place for us was living in the trees. It wakes up fast enough that we can prevent fall. Okay.
I hate those. That I'm so scared after I wake up
What
from
do you do
falling.
when it happens? What do you automatically do? You stretch your arms and try to hold yourself on something, right?
I don't think I still have that reflex. I just go,
Yeah. You wake up and you change your posture, right?
probably, yeah.
That is exactly what it is. To changing your posture to maybe if you're lucky, you can still can grasp on a branch or something, not to fall. Okay.
Or grab the person next to me so we both fall.
Yeah. And then both are food of the cougar, you know.
Yeah, never alone.
Never alone. Never alone.
Thank you guys
Even
for watching.
even being eaten is more fun with another person, right?
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for watching. This was Essence of Science. Today we talked about dreams. I'm Amanda Armagast.
And this is Dr. Abbasi for Essence.